Hey everybody. I'm gonna go backtrack a little bit and go over some tree and grass stuff, and then get into cameras, kind of show how to move around in this window and set up a good camera view. So backtracking a little, just to talk a little bit more about trees and kind of expand on what I was doing before. One of the things you can see is I've already sort of placed a random proxy there that didn't belong there. I think some of you are having issues with that. The proxy tool is a little bit touchy about when you click. Anytime this little guy is active, if you click over here, it places a proxy, even if you don't assign it to a mesh. But the first time you do it, it should pop up a window that allows you to assign it. So I've got that tool that's under, it's under this Create tab, Geometry, Vray Proxy, and then I'm going to put a tree right here. And I'll start with the biggest maple I've got. This is a pretty mature landscape, so you probably want to have really good mature trees, and I think the scale factor on these is right around here. This is probably about right for 0.15. So if this comes in for you like this, it comes in at 1, you just want to come and take that down to like 0.15, something like that. And you can mess around with the scale of each individual tree as you make them too, just to give them variation. But that's our first tree. So that's a maple. So then I'm going to place the next one, and I'm going to do that as an oak. And then I'll do the next one as an elm. And now I got to make sure that I deselect that tool so that I've got just those 3 trees out there. So now I want to assign a material to each of them separately. So what I can do, I'll backtrack out here and show you how I did this. Get material, then go to this guy, open material library, trees, there they are. If these come in black as little black squares, talk to me, because that's sort of a larger issue. But I want to drag the oak over there, I want to do a maple, and I want to do an elm tree. And you'll notice when you drag these over, you don't get that pop-up window that asks you whether to do it as an instance. That's because none of these materials aren't assigned to anything in the model yet. So they're completely floating as of now. So then I want to just assign these to each. So I made this first one was the maple, right? So I can take my maple, drag it onto that guy. I'm just clicking and dragging. The other way you can do this is I could select that tree, which is the oak, go over to the oak over there and assign to selection. And then this one is the elm. I'm going to drag that over there. And that's it. So what I'm going to do is do a quick test render of this just to make sure all my materials are mapping correctly and everything is groovy. And pull back a little bit. And you'll notice, as you all have so far noticed, that trees slow things down substantially. There's a lot of geometry that needs to get calculated, and the number of polygons that are in a tree are a little bit mind-boggling. Or mind-boggling, as what's the guy's name? Blades of Glory. Anyway, come on, Lake Cache. So you can see how that can kind of take a while. I'm just going to presume that I did it right. Well, let's see, it's going down now. Wait for it. Come on, come on. Lake Cache, for whatever reason, has to get past its first little hump sometimes, and sometimes it looks like it's going to take 500 hours to render, and then all of a sudden it gets over the hump. So there it is. Everything is green. All my trunks are good. I got some trees. Happy trees. Happy trees. I forgot what that guy's name was too. Anyway, so one of the things that I do when I make trees, these are all trees that I've made in this other program, is I give them a really long trunk. And I do that so that I can, at times if I want to use them in the foreground as a pruned tree, I'll raise up the trunk. in this kind of situation where the trees are largely unpruned, meaning we're kind of in the wild, in the forest out here with this house, you're probably not going to see a lot of trunk, a lot of pruned area, or a lot of trunk on the trees. So I would probably take these guys, select all three of them, and move them down just to the point where, I'm going to do it just to the point where, you know, some of the leaves are kind of touching the ground. And I might need to do this individually with each of these. I want a little bit of trunk, but I don't want, you know, I don't want that much. And you can see that, you know, I have made these where the trunk splays at the end, which is a little more realistic, but I'm not going to worry about that in this guy, because we're going to do some pretty substantial grass that'll cover that up. So I've got these three trees. The materials are assigned to each. So now I can go click one and go Control C V, Control copy, Control C to copy, Control V to paste as an instance, and move that out. And you can start looking now at sort of the site plan of the Farnsworth and really be able to do this. Control copy paste. There's another one. I'll copy and paste the maple, like that. Then I think these guys I don't want to have it even be here, so I'm just going to move those over. I'm kind of just randomizing them. What I tend to like to do at this point is make one tree line, just a line of them that I can start to move and rotate around. So I'm gonna, and I kind of like to do this in a bit of an arc, a sort of an arc, just a little bit, to give myself a little bit of maneuverability. So now what I might do is select all of these guys and go up to group and group them, and I'll just call it tree line. And now I can start to move this around, and I can copy paste it as an instance and then rotate it. Instance. I'm going to rotate that instance actually, like that. Move it around. You know, you might want to do some different things. You might want to leave little gaps to maybe let a stream of light come through, sunlight or something. Might want to set them back at different dimensions to see what you can play with. It's kind of what I like about being able to make tree lines, is that you can really orchestrate those things a little bit more with a little more detail. Can create a little bit of depth like that. The other great thing about tree lines is I can take this guy and copy paste him and move him back a little bit. Maybe shift it just a little bit one way or the other, maybe that way. And then I can move him down so that it fills the horizon. And this is something that you're going to hear me say a lot to all of you, is just to make sure you fill the horizon. It's the way to create realism. It's a really critical, important step. It changes the entire outlook of the image once you fill the horizon. And the beauty of proxies is that they don't eat up much memory, and they don't really add that much to render time. So you can do lots of them, and you can really fill the horizon this way. If you tried to do this in SketchUp, obviously right now we'd be sitting and looking at the spinning wheel of death and bug splat after bug splat. I'm not guaranteeing this isn't going to crash, but you know. So I'm just sort of randomizing these, trying to get a little bit of a sense of depth. Trying to get the horizon sort of filled. I might still have some gaps in here, but I'll sort of do test renders to see. And then you can see I've kind of got a couple of trees that are just sort of varied out there, which is also good. I might want to make a couple others that are random out here too, but why don't I just leave this for now, and I'll again do a quick test render to see how I'm doing with my horizon if it's filled. Let's see if that light cache can go faster this time. Yep, a lot faster this time. So see how it's kind of funny, you know, before I had 3 trees in there and it took a long time for that light cache to kick in. This time I have hundreds and it's going actually faster. So it's kind of a funky thing. So it looks like I've got a little bit of horizon poking through there and a little bit there, so I've still got a little bit of work to do. And a couple spots look kind of funny. This looks like it's really dug into the ground maybe, and it's a little too exposed. I like this tree up front, that's really fun. But for the most part I'm getting close, so I just got to kind of keep filling that out and filling out that horizon. Yeah. So maybe I need to do something like that. Maybe that's dug in a little bit too deep. And maybe I need to do it 3 deep, you know, and really kind of fill that horizon in. So at this point, you know, I think I'm going to do one more here. That looks like that fills it up pretty good. I like having these rows of trees to give the scene depth. It's a little bit, you know, surreal, right? I mean, I think that in truth you'd have a full forest, and if you really wanted to do that, there's nothing against. I have nothing against that at all. It's not a bad exercise. It looks like I still have some stuff digging into the ground there, but that's no big deal. I'm not going to freak out about it too much. I think it's okay. It doesn't look like that's what's happening though, does it? Well, anyway, that's that. So those are trees. We're going to call that good. I'm going to get my grass going. Just do this really fast. Really fast. UVW map. By 12 or 10 by 10 maybe, 8 by 8, whatever. Whoops, didn't want to do that twice. Displacement, map. (2D), 6 inches, something like that. 1600 for resolution. Done. I also think this grass is looking a little bit dull. So I think I'm gonna, once it lets me, I'm gonna adjust some things on that guy. Just keep spinning, just keep spinning, 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 spinning. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause and do this as another part, and we'll come back.